Hi and good evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Shakil 5858. I am Buddham. Now the latest headlines from world channels and news agencies.
Purported leak.
Tonight, a bushfire emergency unfolds in Victoria. Communities evacuated just on Christmas. A child is one of two people killed after a car ploughs into a crowded Christmas market in Germany. A bus driver is dead and 13 passengers are taken to hospital after colliding with a truck in Wagga Wagga in New South Wales. And Annabelle Sutherland's century helps Australia defeat the Kiwis in a rain-affected ODI in Wellington. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Mariam Saab. Communities in Victoria's west are on high alert with more.
Breaking news as we come on the air, the suspected deadly terror attack on a crowded Christmas market. Multiple people killed. The winter blast snarling holiday travel and the race to avert a potential government shutdown. First, the horrific images coming in. A car driving at high speed in a suspected terror attack. The driver plowing into a crowd of people at a Christmas market in Germany. An adult and toddler killed. Dozens injured. Authorities calling it a deliberate act. The driver reportedly arrested at the scene. A bystander capturing this video, a man on the ground surrounded by police. And what's being done to protect holiday markets here in the U.S. Tonight, the winter blast from Minnesota to the Northeast. During one of the busiest travel days of the long Christmas break, hundreds of accidents reported. A small plane landing on the busy New York State Thruway. A major temperature plunge coming overnight. Lee Goldberg timing out the holiday travel forecast. House Republicans with an 11th hour plan hoping to avert a government shutdown in the peak of the holiday season. Speaker Mike Johnson under intense pressure from Elon Musk, President-elect Trump, and members of his own party. The critical vote tonight. Jonathan Karl on Capitol Hill. 24 hours after some drivers who work for Amazon went on strike, baristas at some Starbucks now walking off the job too. Their strike could spread to hundreds of stores across the country. The chilling case making national headlines. A judge today sentencing the convicted killer who murdered two teenage girls out hiking. Prosecutors thanking the victims for what they did to help solve their own murders. Tonight, the FAA expanding a ban on drones over 30 areas across New York State, including all 5 boroughs in New York City. 20 years after surviving the tsunami, supermodel Petra Nemkova reliving her rescue, her loss, and her mission. A gripping one-on-one with Diane Sawyer. And the surprise reunion on stage. Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr together again.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York.
Tonight, the horror right before the holidays. The disturbing video of a car plowing into a Christmas market, leaving at least 2 people dead in Germany. Police saying a driver plowed a vehicle into the large crowd at this Christmas market. At least 2 people killed, more than 60 injured. The suspect in custody tonight. Officials saying he is a doctor originally from Saudi Arabia. The latest from Germany just ahead. And breaking news on Capitol Hill, the House just a short time ago passing a deal to avert a government shutdown just hours before the midnight deadline. The last-minute scramble after President-elect Donald Trump sank a previous bipartisan deal. The winter storm moving into the Northeast, the rain and snow hitting just as record holiday travel ramps up. The man convicted in the Delphi double murder of 2 teenage girls receiving the maximum 130 years in prison. The judge's scathing words before handing down the sentence. Before you head out on your holiday road trip, our inside look at Google Maps and how AI helps find your fastest route. And the man who keeps one American city on time with the help
On this Friday night, no more confidence for Justin Trudeau. The NDP leader's new vow to take down the Liberal government. What's left for the Prime Minister as opposition parties are dead set on an election?
This cannot go on.
And what's today's cabinet shuffle worth now? The new roles and new faces of Trudeau's inner circle as dissent grows within his own party. Plus, details on a deadly attack in Germany after a car plows into a Christmas market crowd. And standing strong.
I'd love to see a program where they already have made these adaptations.
How a Dalhousie medical student isn't letting a wheelchair keep him from the operating room.
Global National. Reporting tonight, Carolyn Jarvis.
Good evening and thanks for joining.
This is Asia Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jill Newbronner, and here are tonight's top stories. Massive rallies in the hearts of Seoul in support of and in opposition to impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, taking place just a kilometre away from each other. Public shock after a car ploughed into a crowd at a Christmas market in Germany, leaving more than 200 injured and at least 5 people dead. And the U.S. government shutdown averted days before the holidays after Congress passes a stopgap funding bill just after midnight last night.
This is Sky News Today. It's 4 o'clock. The headlines. At least 5 people are known to have died after a car ploughed into a Christmas market in Germany. The German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has visited the scene, promising a full investigation, as the country's Interior Minister says the suspect is clearly Islamophobic. More than 200 people are injured, 41 of them seriously, in what authorities say was a deliberate attack. A 50-year-old doctor, originally from Saudi Arabia, has been arrested. The police say they've raided the suspect's house. They say they believe he acted alone. Elsewhere, Harrods workers walk out over working conditions and the company's refusal to pay a Christmas bonus. Plus, the big Christmas getaway warnings that today could be the busiest day on the roads for years will also bring you updates from the trains, ferries and planes. Good afternoon. At least 5 people, including a 9-year-old child, have been killed when a car ploughed into a Christmas market in Germany.
Multinational tech giant Apple has disputed allegations by the Democratic Republic of Congo that it uses conflict minerals in its products. Without giving further details, it claims that earlier this year it told its suppliers to stop purchasing tin, tantalum, tungsten and gold from the DRC and Rwanda, where conflict has escalated. The statement came in response to criminal cases filed against the company in France and Belgium by the Congolese government. Kinshasa accuses the tech giant of using what it described as blood minerals from the region laundered through international supply chains in its products. The mineral-rich eastern part of the DRC has been racked by violence between rebel groups, some backed by Rwanda, and the Congolese army since the 1990s. United Nations experts say some of the artisanal mines are run by these militants, involved in crimes including massacres of civilians and rapes, which Kinshasa says makes Apple complicit. Although Apple's statement was vague, lawyers for the DRC have welcomed its decision, but say they will press ahead with the cases. This was a family's house. Now it's ruins following the destructive force of Cyclone Chido, which ripped through the French Indian Ocean island of Mayotte a week ago. But on the edge of this shanty town, Ahmed and his 18-year-old son are working on what was and will once again be their home, salvaging what they can. Since the cyclone, until now, we're suffering. There's no water, no electricity and no candles, and we don't know where we can go to the toilet. Because of this tragedy, my children don't know where they'll sleep. Our lives have changed. It's changed a lot. Until now, there's no assistance. As the island's traumatized residents struggle to rebuild their lives, many complain about the lack of assistance. They're forced to borrow from friends and neighbors as they begin the job of rebuilding. We've been here like this for 4 or 5 days now. We haven't seen anybody. No one apart from you has come to see us. With the rainy season approaching, like other families, they worry they won't have the means to rebuild in time. The Syrian village of Maria, near the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights, just outside the buffer zone established in a 1974 ceasefire agreement between the two countries. On Friday, Israeli forces say they shot and wounded a man who was part of a group of protesters demanding an end to its military presence in the area. Residents say Israel has set up position in an abandoned Syrian army base there and are preventing farmers from accessing their fields. We're calling on the United Nations to remove the Israeli occupation from the Syrian points in Maria village, based on the 1974 agreement between Syria and the Israeli occupation. Since the fall of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad on the 8th of December, Israel has carried out hundreds of airstrikes on Syria. And in a move widely condemned internationally, it also sent troops into the United Nations patrolled buffer zone, calling it a defensive and temporary measure to ensure the security of Israel's northern border.
Breaking news. Deadly attack on a busy Christmas market in Germany. A car drives into a crowd of people. Why officials say it appears deliberate. The new information.
We will not have a government shutdown.
Shutdown averted? The 11th hour House vote to keep the government open.
I usually travel on Fridays, and this is the worst it's been for me.
With about a third of Americans expected to travel over the holidays, how bad weather is already impacting the rush.
Are you guys serious?
And we go on the road in this season of giving.
Their joy, that's the gift to you.
This was really a life changer for me.
The CBS Evening News starts now.
Oh my God.
Good evening.
Prime Minister, how are you done reflecting? Will you stay or will you go, sir?
Justin Trudeau breaks days of public silence. Remarks, terse. Questions taken, none. His future, clear as mud. But tonight, that future is the story Canadians want figured out, and the plot definitely thickened.
What is clear is that Justin Trudeau does not have the confidence of Parliament.
Pierre Poilievre spoke for Conservatives, but referenced the Bloc, some Liberals, and new support from the NDP. It says it's done propping the Liberals up. Now it will vote them out.
It's time that we all get on the same track.
This is a time for unity. We absolutely support the Prime Minister.
All of it on a day members of a new cabinet say their focus is policy. But will that last months, weeks, or just days? This political page-turner isn't written yet.
From CBC News, this is The National with
Tonight, the Prime Minister's cabinet shuffle overshadowed by renewed calls for his resignation. Uncertainty for an embattled Justin Trudeau and his minority government.
We have a lot of work to do.
The new election threat from the NDP and Conservatives.
I will be writing the Governor General, asking her to urgently reconvene Parliament.
What German police are learning about a driver who slammed into a crowded Christmas market, leaving death and destruction in his wake. The mystery over the disappearance of flight MH370, why the search is back on. Also, where are holiday shoppers spending the most this time of year?
It's crazy in there. It's like shoulder to shoulder. I'm just getting rocked around like I'm playing hockey.
Plus, celebrating the magic of Christmas with Santa. bringing joy and wonder to the hearts of children in Manitoba's remote communities.
So we're bringing Christmas to the First Nations.
CTV National News with Heather.
The Senate passing a bill to stop a government shutdown, sending it to President Biden's desk after missing the midnight deadline by 37 minutes.
The measure extends government funding into March and includes roughly $100 billion in disaster aid and relief for farmers.
That's right. It passed in the Senate in a 85-11 vote. 10 Republican senators and 1 independent senator, Bernie Sanders, voted against the bill.
This coming after it cleared the House when 366 legislators voted yes. All the lawmakers who voted no were Republican.
The newly passed 118-page bill does not include many policies that were in the original 1,500-page proposal, including health care provisions, restricting investments in China, pay raises for lawmakers, and suspending the debt ceiling. The president-elect reportedly not happy about the bill, especially the fact that the spending deal does not include suspending the debt ceiling. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson says,
"Tried so long to fight, filling my head with lies."
She was my heartbeat. She was meant to be here, you know? I mean, the first time she done my hair, I said, "Tia, you got some talent there."
Tia Wilson loved to sing, braid hair and do anything creative. That's when she was feeling well, but in the last few years of her life, her mental health deteriorated. It was at those times that her mum tried to comfort her.
It wasn't nice to see her in pain, and I couldn't do anything to help her. I couldn't get into her head and say, "Oh, T, I just wanted to take away all the pain." There's nothing I could do, just to be there, hold her.
When Tia became extremely unwell, she was taken to A&E and detained under the Mental Health Act. At 18, she was the youngest person on the ward. Her mum visited nearly every day, but there was one day when she didn't.
What happened in the morning? She called me and I said to her, "T, I'm going to come down and see you tomorrow," which was the Sunday, because I wanted to...
Rouge.fr.
Welcome back to Worldview with me, Gavin Lee. You're watching France 24. Welcome to the programme. Let's get the headlines tonight. German officials say a 9-year-old, 5 people confirmed dead after a car was driven into a crowd. The Christmas markets in the city of Magdeburg this time yesterday evening. These are live scenes from Magdeburg Cathedral right now as tributes are being paid in a service to those that lost their lives. More than 200 people have been injured. Earlier today, crowds had booed Chancellor Olaf Scholz, who visited the markets to pay tribute to those killed and injured. Germany's chief prosecutor for the region says a suspect is 50-year-old doctor from Saudi Arabia who'd been living in Germany for 18 years, being held now for suspicion of murder and bodily harm. Several German media outlets identify him as Talab A, withholding the last name in line with privacy laws, reporting he was a specialist in psychiatry. We'll be there in a moment. And Israel says an initial investigation into the Houthi missile attack on Tel Aviv has found all of its interceptors failed to knock down the projectile. A park in the city was hit, damaging nearby homes, injuring 16 people. The Houthis have issued a statement on Telegram saying they had aimed a hypersonic ballistic missile at a military target, which they didn't identify. There is deep sorrow and fury today in the city of Magdeburg. We are 24 hours exactly since the news was breaking that a man had driven a car at speed into a crowd at the German Christmas markets. Chancellor Olaf Scholz.
W Spotlight. Dive in and get inspired.
Welcome to DW News. Here are our top stories coming to you live from Berlin. Authorities here in Germany have defended their security concept for the Magdeburg Christmas market. Police saying security had been ramped up before Friday's attack. 5 people are now confirmed dead and 200 injured after a car plowed into crowds. Prosecutors expect to charge the suspect with 5 counts of murder. I'm Claire Richardson. Thank you so much for joining us. German prosecutors expect to.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Bennett. Amna Nawaz is away. On the NewsHour tonight, after much wrangling, Congress moves to avoid a government shutdown with a new funding bill. Top U.S. diplomats meet the new leaders of Syria who overthrew the Assad regime and are now attempting to rebuild the war-torn country. And life in the West Bank following the October 7th Hamas terror attacks has been brutal and unpredictable.
We have no future now. Even for my daughter, she has no future. If they had destroyed the house with us inside, it would have been better.
Thank you for sparing your precious time. This is Amir Shakil. Have a good life. Bye-bye.